right out of the gate, yeah, I know I haven't been here in a while, but I tend to talk about things in this game when there is a subject to talk about. And we just had the 7.0 live stream in Genshin, and it was pretty beefy. Needless to say, there are some things to talk about. So I'm here. This isn't one of my centralized analytical gameplay kind of videos. It's more so an overall broad opinion piece on some of the things coming up in 7.0 and the live stream in general. My videos are 90% gameplay related, but I'm not really so much a story guy or a lore guy when it comes to videos. That's just me, but I do love the story and the lore, so I'll probably have a few comments about that stuff as well. But all that said, yeah, the 7.0 live stream, very interesting. We got a better glimpse of the new region, new characters, new mechanics, story implications, lore implications. There was a lot. That said, it also lacked a little bit in straight QOL, and don't get me wrong, I know what a lot of people will say, because there was a lot of content here. That's not really a debate. But that is different than quality of life. There is nuance there. But we'll get all into that soon. Let's talk about some of the things that I saw. Starting with Paimon's conspicuous absence. She's, not here. And that has a lot of implications for the story, as well as the narrative presentation. It implies that something about her will be central to the story, or at least that she's going to be related to it in some way. And it seemed like Renova, the Shade of Death, was targeting her, but if that's the case, then that has even more implications, because why is the Shade so concerned with Paimon? But that just feeds back into old theories that Paimon is in some way related directly to the Shades. In what way, we're not quite sure, but I do feel she's probably more closely related to the Shade of Space, Asmodee, as she's defected. I don't think Renova takes too kindly to that, and as a result, I don't think she takes too kindly to Paimon. But we'll have to see if that's really all true, if there's really any direct relations there. It's gonna be fun to see. We're getting into it. On a narrative presentation note, it's gonna be interesting depending on just how soon Paimon goes missing and just how soon she comes back. If she comes back, that is. If Paimon is gone for the majority of the patch, or the entire patch, or a patch or two, or who knows, even the rest of Snezhnaya, who knows, then that means that our narrative voice is pretty much gone, right? During Not Cry, the travelers started speaking up for themselves much more. It was very notable. The traveler speaks a lot now. And I just have to wonder if they were warming us up to that idea because they knew that here soon, Paimon was not gonna be there to do a lot of the talking. Depending on just how long Paimon is gone, again, we don't know, could just be the patch, could be much longer than that, but the traveler is gonna have to speak up for themselves a lot more. I don't think it's a coincidence that they've been doing that more lately, or they're trying to get us used to it, or at least that's my theory. Again, we'll see. If Paimon is right next to the traveler again by the end of the patch, then we can scratch all of this, but I don't know, we'll see. Oh, but before I start talking about the gameplay and game-related stuff, one other big lore nugget they just dumped on everyone out of nowhere is telling us that all Khaenri'ahns are descendants of the Cryo-Archon. They just said it. Just straight out told us, didn't even put it in the game for us to find out, just told us. that was a heck of a drop. So like, that means that them hating the gods. It's technically them hating their own ancestor. I don't know. Man, there's a lot to go through with that. That could be its own discussion, but there are others that would talk about that way deeper than I would. But still, major thing that they just casually told us as if we weren't supposed to sit forward in our seats. Man. Okay, yeah, sure. She's the mommy of all Khaenri'ahns. Okay, great, I guess. But let's talk about some gameplay related stuff now, shall we? The Stellar system has been officially revealed under the name Stellar Glimmer Reactions. Not the name I was expecting, but it works enough, it's cool. And they officially unveiled Stellar-Swirl as well as recapped Stellar Conduct. Now, most people should be familiar with Stellar Conduct at this point, but Stellar-Swirl is pretty interesting. It creates a vortex, a stellar vortex, and it will explode after a while of dealing stellar damage. And the more swirls is the more that the vortex charges for more damage. It's a pretty straightforward and simple mechanic. I just hope that the explosion, the stellar vortex explosion, is worth it, because enemies move around a lot. I'm not sure how close they need to be to the vortex for it to explode on them, or if simply being within the field itself is enough for it to count. Couldn't tell, I'm not sure. But either way, I hope that it actually lives up to being a brand new reaction. What I do hope is that even more stellar reactions are coming, because a lot of people have had the idea that there would be maybe a Rhymegrass reaction for Cryo and Dendro, and I'm sitting along those lines as well. It just makes sense. I don't think they'll stop at 2 reactions for a whole new subclass. Plus, at least it's teased in the Imaginarium Theater where you can grab Cryo-Dendro cards for Rhymegrass reactions. But we'll have to wait and see what else they have on this front. As of now, I just want to play Stellar-Swirl, because it's gonna give me an opportunity to bring out my Mizuki. But on the subject of characters, let's talk about some characters and how they're doing them, because I have to say, I kind of approve the way that they're going about this. First of all, Odette. I love the design, bro. I'm just being straight up. A lot of people have some problems with the character because they're in Snezhnaya, and it's like, they're like, this character's not covered up. Dude, it's a ballerina. In real life, no matter what region one is in, that's how they dress. That doesn't mean that there's any inconsistency. I'm someone who believes that someone's profession, in some cases, can supersede their location. Call me crazy, I don't have a problem with it. But all that aside, on a functional level, one of the things I like a lot about this character is the fact that she enables both Stellar Conduct and Stellar-Swirl in the same character. And not being an Archon level character like Columbina, I find this to be a huge W for the players. In the Lunar reaction system, there was basically 1 reaction per character. You had Lunar Charged with Anefa and Flynn's, Lunar Bloom with Lauma and Nefer, and also Lunar Crystallize with Linnea and Zabai. And then you had Columbina, who allowed for all 3 as kind of a god-level catch-all character. The thing is, if you wanted to dip into multiple reactions, you either needed Columbina or characters of the different elements. But see, here what they're doing in Snezhnaya is there's actually consolidation among the characters, even starting out with like Odette. She can do Stellar Conduct and Stellar-Swirl. This leaves players feeling like they're not missing out on certain reactions just because they can't get a character of a different element. Instead, here you have what you need in order to play any type. That's cool. And it doesn't stop with Odette. The Traveler was said to be the same way. In fact, while Odette was said to be able to enable Stellar Conduct and Stellar-Swirl, The Traveler was said to be able to enable any stellar reaction, which the way I take that is even those that have yet to come, such as a potential rhyme grass. That's also huge, because whereas Columbina was a premium character who could enable any lunar reaction, the Traveler will be able to enable any stellar reaction, and the Traveler is free, so everyone gets to play along. Now, how good will the Traveler be? That's the question, but hey, you have the option, you have a method, and that's important for making any new system feel like anyone can interact with it. You have a free character that can handle all stellar, and then you have premium characters who can handle more than just one stellar. The handling just seems to be shaping up to be better than Lunar in my opinion, because of all the avenues and options you'll have in order to play stellar reactions. Again, I don't know if they will retroactively fit Snezhnaya and Odette if, say, another stellar reaction ever comes out. It does seem like they're going to do that with the Traveler, but at this rate, I wouldn't rule it out. Who knows? We'll see what happens. And it's pretty cool because there are still specialist supports, like Alyosha, because he boosts Stellar Conduct specifically, right? They didn't say anything about Stellar-Swirl, so there may be a mix of generalists and specialists. I think that'll be pretty good. Just like Snezhnaya, who, even though I believe they are adding Stellar-Swirl multipliers, she'll still be primarily a Stellar Conduct DPS character. I would like to rewind to the discussion about the Traveler though, because they're going to be getting a new sword, the Exaiphanes Blade. And look, I get it. It looks like it says Exaiphanes, because I do believe that's how Nicole pronounced the name. I'm not saying Phanes, okay? I'm not saying Phanes. I've said Phanes ever since I've seen the name in the game's lore. I can't say Phanes. So to me, this is the Exaiphanes Blade, and it sounds cooler too, right? But so the Traveler is getting their own sword, which will level up with the more statues of 7 that you find. That's a pretty cool mechanic, but here's my question. Normally, when we go to a new region, one of the first things I do is just run around the map and unlock all the statues. If they're gonna lock the progression of this sword behind statues in such a way, does that mean that the statues themselves aren't unlockable very easily? Because otherwise it sounds like I'm gonna end up maxing out this sword extremely quickly. Unless there's another progression system tied to it, such as you have to bring certain materials to the statue, then I can see it, but they didn't mention that. They just said that unlocking new statues increases the level of the blade, so I'm interested to see where this goes, because if that's the case, I'm gonna have this thing maxed in no time. Unless maybe new sub-regions release, where we haven't unlocked every statue yet, but you know what I mean. Still cool though. I just wonder exactly what they mean, cause like I'm gonna have it done in 30 minutes. Oh well, and on another game related note, Genshin with guns is here. We've been saying it forever, but okay, first of all, let me rewind that. You know, guns have always been in the game, like literally since day one, with the like pyro fatui soldier dudes that literally have rifles that shoot flaming balls, and the cryo dudes with their cryo blasters. Guns in the game isn't new. Us using guns in the game is new. But it's kind of cool looking. I like the way it looks. It's just interesting that it's in these special shadow realms. But I kind of like the concept of it regardless, because it's using the elemental reaction system in a third-person shooter way. And I do like the fact that they are going for something that everyone can enjoy. They have like the base level difficulties and stages, and that's all fine and everything, but they did mention something about difficult gameplay being available for those who want it, and that's going to be me right there. Like, that's gonna be me. So, yeah, I like the fact that they aren't making it one way or the other, which is something I feel like Genshin has a habit of doing sometimes. They'll make a new system or a new game mode or something that feels way too casual, where hardcore players can't really enjoy it, or they'll make it so difficult that casual players just don't engage with it. But they have this system going on, apparently, where those who just kind of want to breeze through it can, and those who want to be like, hey, get good, can have something to get good at. So I appreciate what they're doing with that. And the fact that it seems like they're trying to go all out with the systems, because they have different weapons and everything, such as the cryo rifle, which they said is for precision, and the electro one for target lock-on, and even a grenade launcher, which I guess is really just gonna be pyro or something, right? But still, that's cool, and you can get upgrades for them, especially if you go to Snezhnaya. They hold training sessions for rewards, and they said that in the future, more firearms and stages with different gameplay experiences will release, so they're going all out on this. They are trying to turn it into a thing, and they're even implementing it into the Miliastra Wonderland. So you can tell that they're pretty happy with what they're doing here, and they want the players to be happy with it too. You'll even be able to tune your firearms and stuff at the workbench and the train. In your own train, mind you. Oh, and that's another discussion. Since I just mentioned the train, let me just move on to that. So, Snezhnaya does have the whole train system, but you're going to have your own car in there with a workbench. You'll be able to submit your commissions from it. What else did they have? Your own crafting bench and everything. It's cool to have a consolidated area like that. But I'm not gonna lie, and I'm sure a lot of people are still thinking this. Why can't you just do some of those things from the menu? And I'm not trying to complain here, you know. It's cool that we have a consolidated area where we can literally just go to it, and everything is sitting right there. Your commissions, your workbench, all within 2 feet of one another. Cool. But it would be nice to just be able to pause the game, go into the menu, and there you go. But they are trying to make, I guess, checking in with Catherine an actual thing in the game, right? They're so committed to the idea of the immersion there that they almost shoot themselves in the foot by not giving players an easy way of just claiming the commissions and being done. They're so stubborn with it, but whatever. I can appreciate that they at least made a little small consolidated area where you don't have to run around a whole town or anything. You just go back to your train car and there you go. You have everything there that you need. So, yeah, a little mixed on that. I'm happy with it, but it would still be nice if you could just do it from the menu. And then there's the expected, the usual. We are going to be getting some new Battle Pass weapons. That's awesome. It's about time. We need a whole new set now. So, looking forward to that. For anyone that pays for the Battle Pass, that is. We're going to be getting new artifacts, but I mean, that's not anything super special. We get those all the time, right? And we have the whole meeting point system once again for the characters. Now, that's going to be kind of cool because Odette's is going to be about trying to schedule her Fatui life and her ballet life and balance them out. They got a whole system set up for this, so that's going to be pretty interesting to deal with. Alyosha's is supposed to be a special hunt case, like some type of hunt with a special reward, some kind of access card. They didn't even explain what the access card is for, they just said that it's a reward for doing his thing, so okay. And Vodyanitsa's, they didn't quite explain hers too well, but they said that you're just in her special place, and that she's having trouble with vocal training and you should help her through it. I don't know what that means, but it's probably something singing related, and we'll probably have to do some kind of musical something. But after you progress far enough with Odette, Alyosha, and Vodyanitsa's meeting points, Then you apparently unlock some special new storyline involving all three of them, so that's pretty cool. They didn't get into the specifics of it or exactly what's going on, but I guess that's supposed to be an extra side reward for progressing, so we can look forward to that. And yeah, that seemed to be about it. That was pretty much the majority of the gameplay related stuff. And to that end, that's about where everything ended. Everything gameplay related seems like it's evolving, and the graphics, of course, look way better. You can tell why they've been kind of sunsetting older systems and stuff. They're trying to make the game look a little bit better and all of that, so there is that. But on the gameplay front and the technical front, things are just better here, and the story is moving. What I did not see, though, is any kind of systems quality of life. Not too much of that. They said nothing about, resin caps, anything about farming limits, nothing on that end, and that doesn't mean that those things aren't coming. They could be coming in a dev note, they could be coming in a future patch. But it seems like 7.0 is widely focused on the game itself, the gameplay, the region, all of that, and less concerned with the systems underneath. For some, that may be disappointing. For me, it's a mixed bag. I do want some improvements and stuff like regular systems level quality of life. But I am happy with the game, but it does have things that it can improve on the systems level. And if they do, then I'll be here to talk about them. But either way, I'm gonna be here to talk about 7.0 and the game and the gameplay and the region and all of that as it unfolds, because that's what I do. The videos around here are about to pick up dramatically because the game is picking up dramatically and it's time to get back on the road. Plus, I'm also playing some other games again, such as HSR and everything, so I'm just in that gaming mood. So as 7.0 comes around, and as the game gets deeper, as we get into these new systems and all that, I'm gonna be here to break it down just like I always have. There's gonna be a lot to get into, a lot to pick apart, a lot to praise, and probably even a few things to moan and groan about. But whatever the case, it's an exciting time. Looking forward to 7.0. I know y'all are too.